welcome back to the channel. I'm Bill, your host, and we're here with another episode of Umpteenth Time Hearing, where I am putting out another song from the collection of offbeat hits I have from, well, not hits, but offbeat songs that I have from decades gone by. Most of them not really well known, offbeat, generally from about the 1980s, although I did go back to 1972 for last week's program. You should check that out. Kind of explains why so much of this stuff is from the 1980s. But I am going to once again jump forward 15 years from that program into the 80s for 1987. And this is a group that I discovered, maybe it was 87, might have been 88, but it was for their 1987 sophomore album, Oh My God. And this is a group that's been going at it continuously for 40 years now. I mean, a lot of the groups that I've covered on this channel, they're either were older when they started, and some of them are deceased now, or bands that just had their course and disbanded, or the lead singer then reformed it with the same basic name but not the same people, variations on that theme. Now, of course, like most bands that have been around for this long, The Cure is an example that leaps right to mind. They've gone through a whole bunch of lineup changes, but the leads have still been there, and we are talking here about the Flaming Lips, who achieved success in the 90s, first off with She Don't Use Jello, years after I discovered them. But I'm going to take it back now to what, if it's not, really ought to be like a headbanger's anthem. From 1987 to Oh My God, this song is going to be Everything's Exploding. So we'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. Now, to preface before we get to it, really ought to understand here, you'll see the cover art when we get into the song. That's what caught my eye at the radio station. And then finding out the fact that I was going to be, the first time I played it, I was going to be listening to a psychedelic punk band out of Oklahoma. Not the place you think of as the source for that type of music. It is not Rodgers and Hammerstein, that's for sure. But music comes from all places, of course. So it was well worth checking out. Now, as I said, they've been at it for decades. Quite the discography, but there's a couple of really interesting releases of theirs that are worth mentioning for those who might not be familiar with them or interested in folks who do kind of alternative things with their music. You see, for 1997's Zairika, if I'm pronouncing that right, and I'm not sure of that, that was actually a 4-CD release for the one album. And it's not that it was that long that you needed 4 CD, that it had 4 CDs of material. No, this one release was designed to have those 4 CDs played on 4 different CD players simultaneously. So a little bit of a challenge, but not to be outdone. They just took it one step further. In 2011, they decided to release at least one new song every month. And that took different forms. There were a couple of months, I believe, where they released an EP that had maybe some remastered old music along with 1 or 2 or more new songs. But in January of that year, they released the single Two Blobs Fucking. And this song was released via YouTube, 12 different videos on YouTube that, in order to hear the song properly, you guessed it, all 12 had to be played at the same time. So a lot of creativity behind this band. They've gone from, their psychedelic punk rock roots. They had that mainstream success. They're sort of shrugging that off as what led to their experiment with Zairika. And they've just been going ever since. So I don't want to keep you waiting any longer. We'll get right to the music. Before I get to that, though, don't forget that, as always, I do have the lyrics, if you want them, posted in the top pinned comment below, as well as the band's official website. While you're looking down there, don't forget to hit that, click on that subscribe button, click on the notification bell. Appreciate any thumbs up and likes you got, and let me know what you think of the program, the artist, any ideas you have in the comments section below. But for now, without any further hesitation, let's get right into the Flaming Lips with Everything's Exploding. Enjoy.
Take this, brother. May it serve you well.
Some of the living
And there you have it, the Flaming Lips with Everything's Exploding. And yes, the song really does end that suddenly. Some do. So I hope you like that sound. If you're not, hey, there's always going to be different sounds coming in the coming weeks. That's one thing I'd like to do on this channel, is to present a different type of music every week. So if you like that sound, there may be others that I've already played that you might want to check out. If you didn't like it, there may be other styles that I've played that you may want to check out, or they'll be coming in the weeks to come. So you can check out my introduction video if you want to get more information about the sort of whole concept behind this channel, and take a look at some of the other videos. There's a whole selection of artists out there with more to come. The whole idea of this program is you only get one song from each artist, but there's going to be a different style of music each and every week. Now this week we went for that psychedelic punk out of Oklahoma. And as I said, we're doing something a little bit different each week. But before I get into next week's show, I just have a general question. As I said, I discovered this group their sophomore album was actually probably my junior year, maybe my senior. But it was a number of years, 6 or 7, I can't remember now, when She Don't Use Jelly became a hit. But many years in between when I first discovered them and when more people discovered them on the radio. Is there any artist that you discovered before they became well known? Another one that I can think of for myself is 10,000 Maniacs. I had an aunt who lived in, I believe it was Buffalo, New York, where they were from. And I had heard about them and got to talk with her about them, so got really into the group. And it wasn't until their second or third album that they really started to achieve mainstream success before they kind of reached their peak and disbanded. But they actually played at Colgate University, where I was in college, when their first album came out, and they were so unknown that it was a gymnasium, not full. I was probably standing 20 feet from Natalie Merchant, the lead singer, the entire show. I have a friend in high school who was always talking to us about U2 this, U2 that, and we were all like, what? And then Pride in the Name of Love came out, and he proved us all wrong. So is there an artist like that you discovered long before they became known? Tell your story in the comments down below. As I said before, though, while you're looking at those comments, don't forget to click on that subscribe button, ring that notifications bell. Certainly appreciate all the likes you can offer, and let me know any comments you have, like the artists you discovered before they became well known. Now, I talked about a different sound for next week, and that's exactly it. It's going to be another artist that I discovered before their big U.S. hit. Now, I did discover them on their first album, and the hit is only from their second album. But it didn't become a hit in the U.S. until about 5 years after their second album came out. So I'll be playing that song from their first album, tell you who the artist is, all coming next week. For now, though, thanks so much for watching. As always, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Have yourselves a great day. Bye now.